Hello everyone. Welcome. In today's live, we are recapping Netflix's The Perfect Couple. Now, The Perfect Couple is an adaptation of the 2018 novel by Elin Hilderbrand of the same name. Let me show you the book cover. So this was the original book cover. This was the book by Elin Hilderbrand that Netflix decided to adapt to screen. Now, this is a limited 6-episode series. It's a murder mystery drama. I'm starting to feel like it's a bit of a comedy that is set over the 4th of July weekend on the island of Nantucket. Now, I know this is supposed to be 4th of July weekend, but seeing that it's early September, the series is being released, it is giving me Labor Day, end of summer vibes. So if you're interested in watching the recap, we're recapping the entire season. So from episode 1 through to 6, we'll be talking about it live. All episodes are available on Netflix to watch. And I won't be doing it by myself. I'll be joined by my friend Laura from the What to Read Next podcast. So if you're interested in hearing our thoughts on The Perfect Couple, Netflix, and also chatting a bit about Elin Hilderbrand's book, then stay tuned. Welcome back to the Biblio Lifestyle channel, where we're reading and living better together. If you haven't already, please like the video, share the video, tell a friend to tell a friend, and also subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're the first to know what's new when I go live and when new videos are uploaded. So today I will be recapping The Perfect Couple, a Netflix adaptation. And I will be doing it not by myself, but with my friend Laura from the What to Read Next podcast, the What to Read Next blog. She's also on YouTube, and she is also 1/3 alongside me and Francesca of the Novel Nights show. We do Novel Nights every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and we have another live show coming up this Thursday. So, hey Laura, I'm super excited to have you recapping The Perfect Couple with me today. How's it going? Oh, I can't hear you. Oh no.
Oh, I'm muted. So it's been going well. It's been going well. It's been a big TV weekend. So I'm excited to have The Perfect Couple. It's just been like a stay in after Labor Day kind of vibes.
Right. I know the show is set over the 4th of July weekend, but it's really giving me Labor Day vibes. It's like an end to summer. It feels like a big hurrah. And yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to go to Nantucket?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know.
Exactly. Yes. So this is it, everyone. The Perfect Couple. It's on Netflix. Again, like I said earlier, it is a limited series. It's 6 episodes. All episodes are available on Netflix to binge right now. And again, it's a murder mystery drama. I feel a bit of a comedy, and it's also it's adapted from Elin Hilderbrand's novel of the same name. Now, before we get into it, let's do a character rundown, shall we?
Yeah.
I have a few pictures of some of the characters. I kind of want us to run down, all the characters, because we're covering the entire series. I don't have everyone's picture, okay, everyone? But let's do the main folks. So first up, right, we have Greer Winbury, who's being played by Nicole Kidman. And I have to tell you, she's an award-winning actress because she was just giving it. She's the matriarch of the family. Like, what were your thoughts on Greer?
Oh my gosh, she was like the ultimate rich lady who is like, overly with power and wants her life to be a certain way. Like, she wants to be a stepper wife, but she's also the breadwinner, and she doesn't feel comfortable being the breadwinner on this like really rich family. And she was an author, and the level of fame this author had, NDAs, book launches, the specifics, and I'm like, the type of author that she does, knowing what I know about publishing, is like, oh, this doesn't make sense, but yeah.
No, she is the fictional big deal. You know, she even has her own publicist team. You know, that team is not from the publisher, okay?
Yeah.
She hired her own publicist team, aka crisis management, aka social media team. You know, she has everything going for her. I agree. I liked Greer. I know she comes off a bit cold and, you know, she wants things a certain way, but I personally liked Greer. I was very interested in the fact that she's surrounded by men in a way how I've always felt, where you're surrounded by them, but they're idiots. For lack of a better word, they're idiots. They're incompetent. They can't do anything right. I mean, they each have a role, which I'll get into, but she's the only one who has her head on her shoulders and she's holding this entire family together. So yeah, I liked Greer. I know, again, she might have come across cold to some people, but I liked her. If y'all are watching live, let us know in the comments, replay crew, what did y'all think about Greer? Okay, next up is the husband, Tag Winbury. And everyone in the show seems to think he's a DILF. Okay, we're not going to say what it means on here. You know, you Google schmoogle, YouTube community guidelines, but everyone feels like he's a DILF. Do you think he's a DILF? Oh, I can't hear you, Laura. Uh-oh.
Muted. Well, I think he is a meandering, you know, one of those like wants to trust fund babies who is basically like, you know, get everything he wants without working a day in his life. So, which is like the complete opposite from Greer.
Yeah, very opposite, you know, to Greer, completely. Very incompetent. Again, he has one job, and this is how I see it. Yes, he's a trust fund baby who is raising trust fund babies because he's never worked a day in his life. And they have 3 boys, and they're like trust fund babies too. But he can't even do his one job right, which is stand by your wife, keep it together, keep up this appearance that they've built. And this man clearly can't, you know, even do that right. I find it so interesting, and we'll get to this in one of the episodes when the son asks him for a loan, and he basically tells him no in a roundabout way by using this analogy. And I'm like, but sir, you're cussing him for being that way when you're no different. Again, all the men in this was incompetent. I mean, does he give DILF vibes? I guess if you're attracted to someone who doesn't work. But for me, I need a man who works. Trust fund be damned. Like, you need to be doing something with your life. And it's not playing golf and kicking, you know, your golf balls and trying to hit the thing.
It's just smoking like weed every day. Everybody is like, I'm like, sir, like, I know you're high, I get it, but like, do we really need to do this like the whole weekend, every single scene, like constantly? And then how he was doing his roll, his points, and all these different things. I'm like, the dedication for his week that he has.
I know. And then here's a wild part. So yes, trust fund baby. But, you know, the previous generations who made the wealth had rules. So he doesn't even have access to the money. Again, his wife is the breadwinner. So again, let me know in the comments what you think about Tag Winbury. Do you think he's a DILF? You know, trust fund babies, you know, is that your thing? I mean, no judgment here, no judgment. I just want to hear, but he did not do it for me. Okay, next up is Queen Bee Abby. Now, I'm just going to let you all know, Abby Winbury was one of my favorite characters. And I'm just going to, I should have said this at the top, but I'm going to say it now. Better late than never. This is a show of rich people behaving badly. If you expect them to be socially and politically and just everything correct, this is not it. She is a capital B. Again, I ain't going to say the word community guidelines, but I was living for Abby Winbury. I had no idea I needed a pregnant Dakota Fanning who is super rich. Like, it was just giving me everything. Hands down, I was here for Abby. What did you think?
She's my favorite, of course. Like, I just love her. Like, you know, the appointment to the hair salon, the space, trying to manage her husband, who is another trust fund baby. And it's like, she's just trying to keep it all together. And she's like, I have it, you know, how do I maintain the lifestyle that I lived and the space that I've grown accustomed to?
Oh yeah, and she is committed. And you know what? I love a bee who's also committed. Like, she's willing to do the work, obviously. And we know she's not afraid to get her hands dirty. But yes, I loved Abby. Okay, so next up we have Amelia. But let me use this picture because I have this picture of Amelia and Benji. So let's talk about these two together. Now, I mean, even for me, and I'm not siding with Greer here, but even for me, I was like, Amelia was too much. I mean, even with the whole ladybug thing, I'm like, girl, a window, you know, did we have to go rushing through the full door? So I guess in this moment, I sided with Greer. And again, we will find out, you know, Greer was right. But of course, if you're Amelia, you don't want the mother-in-law or the future mother-in-law to know that she is right. I wasn't feeling Amelia personally. Benji was just annoying to me. Again, trust fund babies don't do it for me. Okay, I love hardworking men, and he was just not giving for me. But what are your thoughts on Amelia and Benji individually, but also as a couple? And for me, I knew they weren't going to make it as a couple, but anyway.
Oh, they're barely gonna make it. But like, I personally did not trust Amelia. Like, I didn't like her. I found her grating, and I found her like, oh, I'm a fish out of water in this rich family. And I'm like, girl, like, you're moving up to a rich family. You're having all the expenses paid, all just opportunities to spend the weekends in Nantucket that people will die for. And yet you just take it for granted. You're like, oh, I'm just not sure. And the whole thing about like rich people, she was against rich people, but I'm like, but you're marrying rich. Like, make it make sense. And Benji, he was just a non-issue. I was like, I didn't understand why he was there. Like, he was really vanilla as a character.
I mean, you know what? I remember his eldest brother kind of saying, oh, blue-eyed boys is getting married. So in my mind, because we know the eldest son, Thomas, he's just an F-up, okay? He's just a hot mess. I felt like Benji was a middle child. He was kind of like, okay. And then, of course, the mom loves the youngest one, and she's, I guess, trying to save the youngest one and make him more normal, you know, normal in the great scheme of things. Yeah, I just, you know what? He was giving middle child. He was just giving middle child and trying to get the attention, and it's just not really there. I just knew they weren't going to make it as a couple. Amelia, I'm like, girl, if you have this problem with rich people, then why are you agreeing to marry one? That's just kind of where I'm at. It's like you're trying to have it both ways in a way. And I'm just like, yeah, no. So yeah, I didn't think they were going to make it at all. But yeah, anyway. So let's take a pause. If you're just joining us, welcome. We are recapping The Perfect Couple on Netflix. This is a limited series, 6 episodes, all available for your binging pleasure. And The Perfect Couple is based on Elin Hilderbrand's novel of the same name. So this is Nantucket, rich people behaving badly. Do not expect them to do the right thing or say the right thing. They're just in their own little bubble. But you know what? I was here for it because I was here for an end of summer trip to Nantucket, and this is exactly what we get in this show. Okay, so continuing our character roundup, we have Merit, aka Maid of Honor, aka having an affair with the DILF tag. What do we think about the best friend?
I like her. I thought she had potential, and I think she was like, I didn't understand why she was friends with Amelia. Like, I don't understand that friendship. Like, it doesn't make sense, but I like her. I was like, I wish she was more on the show.
Yes. And look, it's not a spoiler to say we find out in the first episode she's the one who dies, okay? She's the one who dies. And I'm like, no. Take Amelia. I wanted more Merit on screen. I think she's lovable. I think she's a girl's girl. You know what I mean? Yes. Okay. If we're going to talk about the morality of, you know, having an affair, my thing is she's in her 20s. Okay. Early 20s. Yep. This is when you make mistakes and you don't know what the F you're doing. And you believe men, which again, men are trash. And that is also what this entire show is about. And if you read Elin Hilderbrand books, right? Because again, this show is based on her books. It's always about women who, in my opinion, are taken advantage of, underappreciated, you know, kind of going through it. And the men around them are trash.
Yeah.
The men around them are like babies, and yeah, it's just, no, that ain't it. So anyways, but I loved Merritt. I felt like she was a girl's girl and she would be a good time. I especially love seeing when they had like that together moment at the pool and Abby was over there. You know, they're girlfriends because of the stuff they're talking about. So yeah, I enjoyed that. Okay, next up is, well, this is a picture of Merritt again, but we have Shooter Duvall. What did we think about his character in this show? And basically, he is the guy, what's her face? Amelia. Yeah, Amelia, this one. I tried to find her picture back. She was kind of like lusting after him and all of that. But also Shooter was Benji's best man. So I guess you could say this is a maid of honor picture and best man picture. What did you think of Shooter?
Shooter was actually, I felt like it was underdeveloped in this show. Like, I felt like it was like, I don't understand. I knew the reason why he was there, and he was just there for a purpose, but he, as a character itself, there was so much more richness that we could find out, but I didn't get it. I didn't get his relationship with Greer. I didn't get his relationship with Benji. I didn't get his relationship with Amelia. I didn't get his relationship with Merritt. Like, it was so underdeveloped. Like, it was just like, I wish they fleshed them out a little bit more. If we had another episode, that we may have seen a little bit more about him.
I agree. I think we could have got more from Shooter. He was really underdeveloped. He was just there. And I think in the film, he was just there to answer the questions, to fill in the spots. So we could be like, oh, it's him. But outside of that, I agree with you. We really didn't get much of Shooter. But yeah, so this is a maid of honor and best man photo together. All right, so we have the couple. I use this picture for Thomas because I love this moment with him and Abby. They're in this scene, they're stealing the cake because the wedding has been called off. And he's like, are you saying my pregnant wife can't have cake? And, we have the whole throwdown moment. Thomas, for me, is a quintessential older child. I'm the eldest sibling. However, he is entitled beyond belief. He takes zero accountability for anything. He can't even take care of his own wife. He can't even keep his own ish together either. I mean, when you think about it, he's almost like the mirror image of his father. And part of me wonders if that's part of the reason why the dad just, can't with him. What did you think about Thomas? Oh, and another thing, it was so obvious to me. He bullies like Benji and the youngest son, Will, because he can't control his own life. That's what I think. Because his dad talks down to him, his mom talks down to him, his wife controls him. He has no control in those aspects. So that's why he's a bully. And, he bullies his brothers and just talks smack about everybody else. But what did you think about Thomas?
His little Tag. He's just the same as Tag. It's same, like, never baby, not trust fund baby. Like, I have work in my life and I'm trying to find a get rich quick scheme because I deserve it and I can actually, go in the crypto influencer, go in this way. Like, it's like finally, like, I'll loan you this money. I'm borrowing from here because I'm getting it from there. And it's just, he cheats on Abby. He doesn't really care about the relationship. He's just there. He's married to Abby because of the name that Abby may bring into it. But there was no purpose in that relationship other than that.
Oh my gosh, it was 100% calculated. And she's also married to him because of his family name and what it brings in. Yeah. And she's well aware. And she's just like, anyways, I'm here to play the role. I also noticed her advice to Amelia, which was like, you have to stay on the outside, on the edges with this family. You can't be too involved, but you also can't be removed. There is that safe zone. But anyways, again, I loved Abby on screen. She was great. Okay, we have the daughter of the chief of police. I thought she was an interesting character. We really didn't get much development from her. However, I appreciated that, she was kind of an ally to Will. Now, I know this is another Will and Merritt picture. Apparently, Netflix is putting out the pictures with Merritt for some reason, I guess, to give us all the red herrings of Merritt and, kind of paint a picture of her. But the youngest son, I mean, look, he's 17, he grew up entitled. I'm not going to drag this poor little boy, but he does recognize the flaws within his family and he wants nothing to do with it. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to let the little kid get a slack. We have the chief of police, right? So he's a local to Nantucket, which I found very interesting. And then we have this event planner. I forgot his name.
Roger,
yes. But I loved Roger's police interrogation scenes. Like, I loved his scenes. What did you think about the chief of police? Like, he's local to the area, but obviously he's not wealthy. He knows how to deal with the wealthy people, like, kind of, in a tippy-toey kind of way. But then also we have Roger, the event planner, who's like, these people are so rich, they can get away with murder rich.
So if you read Elin Hilderbrand's novels, the chief is a recurring character in most of our novels in Nantucket. So it's like a person that's well-beloved. And so it was really exciting to see this well-beloved character come to life. They changed the name. They changed the name, but it's fun to see this character who knows the area, who knows how to handle rich people, who knows how to handle like these cases or high profile in a way with tact that we will see in the other detective. And I think it's kind of like nice, like a really sense of like, I know what I'm dealing with. And I know my place, but at the same time, I know that I have a job to do. And it was great to see the chief.
Yes, same. I agree 100%. And then we have Detective Nikki, which she's an out-of-town detective. I forgot what, she's sent in to Nantucket to oversee the case and get everything solved. And like her way about going about things is just very blunt and direct and just, it can come across a bit abrasive. But I will say I loved, kind of seeing her kind of get on, with the other officers. I love the scene when she was like, yeah, I don't really like you very much at all. But then we get a moment when she gets this donut and she's like, oh my God, this is like the best donut ever. So, she can be a bit of a bee. She's a bit abrasive, but at least she's not too tough that she can't say, okay, this donut is hella good. What did you think about her though as a character?
I like the dichotomy between the chief and the officers, and then having this outsider coming in and be like, this is how it's done. And she's very city-like, and then doesn't understand the rules in Nantucket, the rules of the island, but the rules of the rich people and who feel they're immune from the justice system. And so how to understand how to navigate that process for her, it was interesting because the chief had to be basically like, you need to treat it like honey. Like, you can't just be like so blunt. And she's like, but I know more. And then seeing the humanity of saying like, I have a daughter, I have a son, and like I have a family too. So I get it. It was at least a better rounded character, not fully fleshed out, but it was better rounded than other characters.
Yes, yeah, I agree. She was better rounded. And then, so this is like a dinner scene. It was really to be an Isabel picture. Okay.
Yeah.
Isabel, what did you think about Isabel? So Isabel is French. She's clearly Greer's friend. She has a lot of money. She's also having an affair with Thomas. I mean, she's hot mess express. What did you think of Isabel?
She's hot mess, but she's staying in some dingy hotel. So I don't know how much money she has. Like, it doesn't make sense. I feel like she's probably one of those people who probably had like an affair with Tag, Thomas, and rich men. And she tried to try to get as much money as possible from men. That's the sense that I got from her.
See, here's my vibe. I think she stayed at the dingy hotel because it's near the house, and so she can discreetly have her affair because she could stay at the house. Again, Greer is her good friend. I actually think she probably married well and then the guy died. And this is my theory for Isabel. So the revelation at the end about Greer and how her and Tag actually met. I kind of felt like that's how they were friends, right? Yeah. So they were working together. We're going to save that for later in the show, but they were working together. So she has money. Like, she probably even married somebody and the guy died and she inherited the money. Because remember, she loaned Thomas like 2.5 mil. This isn't a broke lady. I just think she chooses that place, like, to stay at a dingy hotel. Because if she stays at a really nice hotel, then people are going to see Thomas Winbury showing up. They're going to be like, who is this woman? They know he's married to Abby. Actually, I think the dingy hotel is kind of like a low-key way to have an affair without being seen, because that's the thing with Nantucket. It's kind of like society. So no, I actually think she has money. I just think it's to cover up her indiscretions, because she also said to Greer, I like my privacy. And I'm like, girl, your privacy is to do the dirty. So that's really, that's really what it is. But anyway, let us stick a pin into things. If you are just joining us, welcome. We are doing our recap of The Perfect Couple on Netflix. It's a limited series, 6 episodes, all available on Netflix now for your binging pleasure. It's based on Elin Hilderbrand's novel of the same name, The Perfect Couple. If you watch Elin Hilderbrand, if you read Elin Hilderbrand's books, you know, she writes about women who I feel are underappreciated, taken advantage of, and they're surrounded by men who are just, you know, they're incapable of taking care of themselves, even when they have all the money in the world, and they're just disappointments. And that's kind of how I felt things really played out in this film. So, okay, let us get to talking about the actual series. So let's go to, let me pull up my notes, because y'all, it's a lot to remember. Okay, so notes. Episode 1 is Welcome to Summerland. That's the name of the episode. It is the wedding eve of Benji and Amelia. We're also getting to know the entire cast. So Benji and Amelia, let me put them up there. Yes, so it's wedding eve. We meet the family. You know, we see the family at their rehearsal dinner, and we see just everything that transpires during that day. We get to meet the Winbury family. But I think one of the biggest things people are talking about on social media is the dance, okay? It's the choreographed dance. Question on the choreographed dance, like, do you think it's odd or do you think it's cool? Yeah, we should be like dancing.
I honestly, okay, so the first time was jarring, because I was like, wait, are they doing a flash mob in the dance rehearsal, in the dress rehearsal, the rehearsal dinner? And then I was like, no. And then I see in the second episode, I was like, okay, no, it's not. And it's just this random, like, what kind of show is this? But by the last episode, when they did the ending and they did the dance, I'm like, I'm just like, this song is catchy. I just want to learn how to do the dance. So.
We need to slow down the video and get the choreography.
Yeah, the choreography is like
yeah.
Like,
I mean, you're getting Nicole Kidman and this whole cast to basically break out in dance. Well, for me personally, again, I know it's a murder mystery. I know it's a family drama. However, I felt like the dance was a way to have fun, because what this show was for me unexpectedly was a comedy. It had these really funny moments, which I was really surprised about. But also, I think it's to kind of show that even though someone just died and a wedding has begun, we're still going to put on face and we're still going to carry on as usual. We're still going to give you a show. We're still going to entertain. We're still going to just do all the things. So that's how I kind of felt about the whole thing. So I was okay with the the choreography. What else do we see here? I mean, the first episode, we just saw the rehearsal dinner. We're getting to know the characters. A body shows up on the beach. Mm-hmm. We don't know who the body is in the beginning, but then what happens is the show kind of goes back to the morning of the rehearsal dinner. So before the rehearsal dinner, so we see how everything kind of led up to that moment. We see multiple things. So in my notes here, we see, well, first of all, that Greer learns that Tag is having an affair. And okay, backtrack. It's the morning of the rehearsal dinner. And we see the jeweler bring the wedding rings for both Amelia and Benji to the house. But Greer is the person who got the rings. Now, I don't know about anyone, but that tells me a lot about a person. When the mother-in-law procures, it's the control. Like, that just tells you everything you need to know about her. So then the jeweler noticed she doesn't have the bracelet on her arm. And she's like, oh my God, Tag spent all this time picking out this. You didn't like it? Because she noticed she wasn't wearing it. And you saw the wheels turning in Greer's mind, and she's like, oh shit, this man did not buy this for me. He bought it for another woman.
Yeah.
So in that moment, she recognized it. Then she goes to his office and finds the receipt. Like, what did you think about Greer in that moment, though?
Well, Greer is just like, she's controlling. She didn't get to do. I read the book. I read part of the book. I'll tell you when I DNF'd it. So in a sense of the backstory is that she didn't get to plan Tom's wedding, and so this is the wedding that she gets to plan. Like she gets to control and have like all the different pieces together. She was in the book. She was annoyed that Tom's wedding was in Texas and there were cowboys, and she's like, "What is going on here?" So this is her return to high class. And so when she realized like she's controlling the wedding rings, when she realized, oh my gosh, he actually not only did he just bought the jewelry, he bought it from a well-known jeweler. Like, it's like, can you just be more discreet? And I think in some ways it's just the reminder of he cannot even do it right.
That's what I'm saying. This entire show, I felt like none of the men in the show could do anything right. They can't read the room. They can't even play their roles. It was just insane. Now, my favorite scenes were the police interrogations, which I thought was a brilliant way for us to kind of get to know all the characters and all the tea and the family drama. So like Roger, the wedding planner guy, he's like, yeah, they are kill somebody rich. He said some other thing, private island rich, which I ain't gonna say, but I felt like that was a nod to the Jeffrey Epstein of it all, which I was like, too soon. But anyway, not really too soon. But, and then my other favorite character, which I don't have a picture, regrettably, is of Gosha, the housekeeper. Listen, I loved Gosha just because Gosha said to the police, oh, Mrs. Greer, she has a gift wrapping room, you know, to wrap gifts and everything. And I'm sure to write thank you letters and cards and everything. But Gosha's letting the police know this woman does not wrap the gifts. I wrap the gifts. And not only do I wrap the gifts, I also wrap it in my room. But, you know, these people are so rich and wealthy that they have a dedicated gift wrapping room. Okay, that's the levels of rich. But I love that moment of petty. I also remember, what's her name? Abby also took the opportunity to share a bit about Merit. And she kind of made it seem like Merit was a good time girl and doing all of this and doing all of that. Like she was really, really shading Merit. So this is Merit. What did you think about Abby's interrogation? Because I felt like Abby was just feeding information. And I'm like, girl, you're talking too much. I love you, but you're doing too much.
Abby was just trying to like hide as much as possible and like trying to deflect from her, but at the same time put the blame on other people. But it's still like, it's doing too much. It's like sometimes you need less is more. She's trying to be the queen bee in an integration. Like she's trying to be Regina George. And I'm like, no, girl, you do not do this. This is not the place to be Regina George.
Yes, for sure. And then the episode ends. Whoops, wrong. Well, I'm sliding through. The episode ends. Episode 1, we get to know the people, but then it ends with us finding out that the dead person, so the dead person in the water, is actually Merit. Now, when we find out it's Merit, we're like, okay, there's a bunch of people who could have possibly done it. Tag was having an affair with her, so probably he did it because then we also found out she was pregnant, so he could have done it. We also know that Greer found out her husband was having an affair with Merit, so she had a reason to do it. We also know that even Amelia, right, they were friends, but she had a reason to do it as well. We know Will had a crush on her, but we don't know how far that crush is. Maybe he could have done it. Yeah. And there were just so many people, and the whole family is just really odd. So episode 1, I have to be honest, I'm not an episode 1 fan of any series. I rated episode 1 3 stars just because we're getting to know the people. We saw the rehearsal dinner party. We saw everybody kind of getting to know each other. And we know that someone is dead. We're getting to know the family. We realize this family is filled with secrets. We realize there's tension between mother-in-law and future daughter-in-law. We see the police come in. And I felt the only person in this moment who was, I guess you could say, concerned about her friend dying was Amelia. Amelia was the only person. Everyone else was just like, oops, oh, someone just died. But how would you rate episode 1? And what were your thoughts on the first episode?
I think for me, I'm someone who struggles with finding TV engaging and like sticking through it. This was a good episode for me to sit still and actually enjoy the episode. Did I watch it at 1.25 speed? Yes, I did. But I actually enjoyed it enough that it kept me engaging. So 4-star, just kind of like it kept me going. I'm like, okay, I want to watch next episode. So it was a pretty good, solid star for me.
I think it was a solid start. I just always just know that it's all about the character development in these. So that's where we're at. But anyways, if you all are just joining us, welcome. We are recapping Netflix's The Perfect Couple. It's a 6-episode limited series. It's all available on Netflix now to binge. If you watched it, let us know in the comments. Let us know your thoughts. Who was your favorite character? Who did you like? Who you didn't care for much? You know, we'd love to hear from you on your thoughts. Did you read The Perfect Couple by Elin Hilderbrand? I mean, look, you don't have to read the book to watch the show, but if you did, we'd love to hear your thoughts on that as well. So let's get into episode 2. Episode 2, the title is She Would Never Do That. And my notes on this one is that we had more secrets come out about the family. Of course, we're more focused now on Tag because he was having an affair with Merritt. And of course, because we know Greer is a control freak, you know, how far will she be willing to go? We also discover for sure she was pregnant in this episode. She was pregnant with Tag's baby. Greer was already suspicious of the affair. We see Tom. I felt like this episode was a Tom heavy episode, and you just really see his toxic behavior kind of coming to life. We see how he and Abby handle their kind of relationship. And we see Amelia trying to tell the police that, hey, Merritt was having an affair with this person. She was also pregnant. And then we see the police chief, the one from out of town, Nikki, getting really suspicious. And I think we saw Greer's power control over the family strongly in this episode. What did you think about episode 2?
I like episode 2. I think it kept me engaged for the next episode. I think it just started building up on each other. Amelia drove me nuts in most of these episodes because I was like, okay, like, what do you want? She's like, nobody cares about her. Obviously, they're rich people. They don't care who dies. They just want, they're kind of like annoyed that they canceled the wedding. And so they're in the media storm. And she's like, I don't understand the media storm. Like, well, these are rich people. Like, obviously, people are going to be caring about, like, there's a dead body. And so it's this part of like this place of like her not getting it. And then the rest of the family kind of like, we just want to live her life as it is. Yes. Let's return to oysters.
Exactly. I mean, those are their biggest problem right now. What to do with canceling the wedding and, you know, the vendors and how to manage all of that. So my highlights I have in the episode is that Tag, okay, the self-proclaimed, or everyone calls him DILF, was having an affair with Merritt, and the pregnancy was confirmed. We also see Greer, right? So Greer, in my opinion, was in top form. So Greer was in top form because she is the NDA queen. That was a note I put. I put NDA queen. What did you think about Greer with the NDA? Then Benji bringing it to Amelia, and then Amelia is like, "Wait, what?"
Well, I love that she's so rich and she's like such a powerful author that she has NDA signed all the time. Like obviously she has to have it because her family, it's a bunch of idiots, and obviously you don't want to disclose the idiocy that's happening. But the fact is that Amelia was shocked that there was an NDA. I'm shocked that she waited that long. I was expecting her to have an NDA like when they started dating, when they met, when they came to the house. Like obviously, I'm not surprised there's an NDA for this, you know, this sort of stuff. But Amelia was shocked, and I'm like, why you're shocked? These are rich people.
Yeah, this is rich people, you know, this is what they do. And it's just, yeah, I'm like, girl, get with the program. Okay, so next in this episode, I thought that was noteworthy is that Shooter becomes a suspect, right? We see that he was trying to flee the island. Man was making a beeline to the ferry landing. Even the cops had to, kind of get him off the actual ferry. So that was a big thing in episode 2. Again, I wish he was developed more, but it is what it is. And I think throughout episode 2, we see Greer kind of just really trying to control the family narrative as best she can. But what do you think? What is your, rating for episode 2? So for me, I said earlier I gave episode 1 a 3 because I'm just like, episode 1s are always bland. Their character developing. But for me, I knocked it up a notch. I gave episode 2 4 stars because I felt we had like a lot happening here. And because now I'm starting to know the people and, put names to faces and everything and seeing the secrets unravel, I was for sure with this one.
So I think I gave it 3.5 stars. It's a little bit less engaging than the first episode, but it has some potential and I'm just still watching. I think I put it down for the evening and it was a good stop to put down that it was like, okay, I can wait till the next day to watch the next couple episodes.
So interestingly, after watching episode 2, I wanted episode 3 right away. So full disclosure, everyone, I watched the first 3 episodes in one go, and then I watched the other 3. But after episode 2, I needed episode 3. And episode 3's title is The Perfect Family. Because I felt like when we ended episode 2, we really saw Greer kind of getting into top form about, how should I say? She was really getting in top form of like getting the family together and getting things kind of squared away. But it was in the episode 3 episode, I think we got the family dinner. We also got like awkward moments. So let me just double check my notes. Yes. So episode 3 is when we had a family dinner, which got really chaotic. We saw lots of like old grievances coming to the surface. Emotions were high. We saw, I felt, Greer lose her grip when it comes to her family. I think it's because like, how should I say it? Like more stuff about Tag's affair was coming to light. Mm-hmm. And of course, with the whole Merritt dying thing, everyone was just, they were kind of losing it. What did you think about this family dinner? Because I was here for it.
I was here for the mess. I love Amelia bringing up like some old grievance, some old lady that nobody wants to talk about. And obviously she's like, we need to talk about it. I'm like, girl, like they're not going to talk about it. And obviously it's going to trigger like this domino effect of events where Will leaves the house because he doesn't like Tag. And Tag is like, what are we going to do? And Greer's like, take care of your kid. Like it shows the dysfunction of this family of like they don't know how to handle their own kids.
It was incredibly dysfunctional, but again, I love a family dinner. I love a messy dinner. And with the holiday season coming up, I'm sure there are going to be lots of messy dinners on the horizon. But I found it so interesting. I was like, this girl wanted to be light. And okay, not to go back to episode 1. But you remember this moment when Benji walks into the father's office when he saw his mom when she was searching for the receipt for the bracelet and she found it. And he came in with an objective, which was like, hey, mom, can you be nicer to Amelia? Like, she knows you don't like her. Can you try better, whatever? And he left that conversation, which, by the way, I know her emotions were high and she's probably a bit harder because she just found out confirmation her husband was cheating on her. But that boy left the office saying, okay, mom, I'll tell her to try to fit in more. Remember, you came in here to tell your mom to be nicer to her, but you're leaving saying, okay, I'm going to tell her to try harder at fitting in. So that just tells you Greer's power on these, on her family, these boys. But the reason I bring it up is I find it so interesting. She knows Greer doesn't like her and she's wanting to fit in. Yet still, she's going to sit down at this dinner table and blurt out something that has nothing to do with her, was way before her time. Everyone is like, wait, what? And you just blab that. I found that very ballsy, actually, on her part. But then after, certain things are addressed, it's like they want to pretend it didn't happen again. So anyways, and they just start going off. I'm just like, oh my gosh. That was so funny. But I think that was a big scene in this episode, was hands down this family dinner. Of course, Amelia is snooping around trying to find out more information about the family. We see more information come to light about Tag's affair and the tension between him and Greer. We see the police kind of coming in and they're linking more people to Merritt's death. We see even Amelia, right? Let me get that picture up. We even see Amelia becoming suspect of Benji as well. She's starting to be like, okay, well, you're in on it. I'm like, ma'am, it's his family. Like, of course he's in on it. Of course he's going to protect his family. I mean, that in itself was kind of wild to me, but also it's in this episode, we see her really starting to question her relationship with Benji. I'm like, ma'am.
I don't understand why they're getting married. Like, there's no reason why they should get married. They're not compatible. He's bland as vanilla. He's not that interesting. She's not that interesting. Maybe that's why they're getting married. But it's like a marriage of convenience. But at the same time, she doesn't want him to be rich. He's rich. I'm like, girl, make it make sense. Like, why are you getting married? Why you agree for this wedding? Why you agree to give hands everything to Greer to plan your whole wedding? I know it's because her mom is getting sick and she's gonna die. But it's still like, make it make sense.
The second you said that, I just remembered, we didn't even really talk about her parents. But to be fair, they're kind of like side characters. However, when her parents show up and Abby is like, oh yeah, we are happy to kind of rearrange or plan to accommodate your death schedule, basically. I'm like, what a bee, man. What a bee. Again, these people aren't socially correct, okay? You are not watching this show for people to be on their best behavior. This is rich people behaving badly and saying whatever they want at the highest level.
Oh, I think she left. So we're just talking about the perfect couple. Victoria should be joining us soon. And it's like recap. We're talking about rich people behaving badly. God bless his family. That's just going crazy. So Victoria, you're back.
Yes. It's rich people behaving badly. It was a mess. That moment with Abby, which yes, I'm back, but I always pretend like I ain't never left. So that's Laura. But it's just rich people behaving badly. But I was here for it. And again, seeing her really question the whole situation, I'm like, ma'am, why are you here? But again, that's irrelevant. But how would you rate? So which episode are we on? We're on episode 3. How would you rate episode 3 now?
4. Just give me the messiness. Give me Amelia acting out, and Greer be like, okay, you should not be going to his office. Like, why are you snooping around? And then pulling her in the dress attire. I was like, yes, I'm here for it. Like, that's not appropriate attire. What are you wearing, girl?
I know. Listen, I love this bit. I love it so much. The family dysfunction. I'm like 4 stars. Easy. It was so good. I love seeing the tension build, and the dinner alone was, the mess. It was so good. Okay, so we're on to episode 4. And again, if you are joining us, if you watched Netflix's The Perfect Couple, it's based on Elin Hilderbrand's novel of the same name. We want to hear from you. Let us know in the comments your thoughts. Replay crew, if you're watching this, we'd love to hear from you as well. Let us know who your favorite characters were. Tell me if you were here for the mess. What was your favorite episode? Did you binge it all at once? I watched episodes 1 to 3 straight, and then I watched 3 to 6. It was, again, perfect end of summer watch. Okay, so in episode 4, my notes, here we go. Yes, this episode 4 is titled Someone Could Get Hurt. And the notes I have is we kind of get to learn more about the Winberry brothers. We realize that they're innocent as it relates to Merritt's death. However, Will, the youngest one, Will. So let me get my Will picture up. But we saw Will's behavior get really erratic. So that's Will and Merritt the day of the rehearsal dinner before the actual dinner. So there's lots of questions about Will. We also see Greer. Listen, this was my favorite part too. So in episode 4, Will is a possible suspect. He's acting funny. My favorite part was Greer, because Greer is willing to throw Tag under the bus. She's like, listen, at this point, I'm willing to cut my losses. I don't care. Listen, if you go to jail, it's okay. Maybe I visit you, maybe I don't, but I just want this to be dead. That's basically where Greer is at. She wants this dead in the water. She has her job and she just wants to focus on it. So we see she's willing to throw Tag under the bus. She tells the police things that, make that make the police call him in. We also see in this episode 2, we see Amelia, right? So remember, Amelia and Benji are the ones getting married, but we realize that we see some Amelia and Shooter feelings coming to the surface. So Shooter is the man in this picture. And of course, we know Amelia and Benji. Now, this is a couple getting married, right? And then this is the best man and the maid of honor. And we see Amelia catching feelings essentially for the best man. And we see a confrontation, obviously, with Shooter and Benji. We also find out in this episode that Merritt had barbiturates in her system. And we also found the bracelet Tag bought for Merritt as well, which is why Will is also a suspect. So needless to say, whoops, wrong couple. Needless to say, we have lots of suspects in this episode and the wheels really, really are turning. What did you think about the someone could get hurt episode with Greer possibly throwing Tag under the bus? Will becoming a suspect because they found the bracelet. Shooter and Benji having their confrontation because we saw Amelia and Shooter
having an affair. So the one thing I have to tell you is that I do not like the Shooter Amelia storyline. That storyline basically felt very off. It didn't have any backstory around it. The storyline between Shooter and Amelia, where they supposedly have met once upon a time, and she has feelings for him. It just felt very rushed. Like it felt like, again, Shooter's character is very underdeveloped, and it doesn't make sense what it does. But catching them in the act and Benji acting all like, oh, she's cheated on me and stuff like that. It's like, well, this is like a really sudden thing that just happened. Felt very rushed. It felt very like we're just placing. I need a scene to place them to add some tension. We'll just add the scene to it.
It felt rushed. It felt rushed to me too. I agree with you 100%. Again, I felt like it was to give us a reason as to part of the reason why their relationship wouldn't work out, Benji and Amelia. So it's like one other nail in the coffin. I found it so interesting how fast in the family everybody knew. Like that family, this isn't dialogue. This is beyond Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Like they are so interconnected. Like the gossip got around the fam real quick. Yeah. I found that so funny. Like Greer was like, I knew it. He thought you walked on water. Abby is like, I don't blame you. He's rich. Which, by the way, nobody knew just how wealthy he was.
And Amelia getting mad at him. I was like, why are you getting mad at him that he's rich? Because he didn't tell me he's rich. I'm like, well, most rich, like real rich people don't tell you they're rich. They just act like, like money's not an issue. That's it. Like they're not really telling you like, here's my net worth. Like, yeah.
Again, Amelia just was not making sense. I'm just like, girl, come on. But anyway, those were the big things in episode 4. Someone could get hurt. Let me double check my notes. Yep. Will becomes a suspect because of the bracelet that was found, but he explained that away. We see Amelia kissing Shooter, Benji having a confrontation, Greer handing over evidence to kind of implicate Tag, which, to be honest with you, I was here for it.
Yes.
The toxicology report reporting that Merritt had barbiturates in her system. We see Benji's temper kind of flare up. Oh, with him and Thomas and the wedding cake moment.
Yes, that was such a good wedding cake moment. He's like, what are you doing? Why are you eating my cake? I'm like, well, why you can have the cake? And then they go and like fight it. And then at the end, Abby's like calling Saoirse to clean up the mess because she's not going to clean up the mess. She's like, Saoirse!
I know. And that's the thing with Abby, again, she's such a royal bee. She does nothing and she just bosses everyone around.
Yeah.
It's just, oh my God, rich woman behaving badly, but I lived. What else did I say? Ooh, I forgot. A big thing in this show is folks not answering their phones. Like Greer was getting a call from this person called Broderick Graham. She's ignoring it. Merritt was getting a phone call from someone. She's like, oh, DL, just someone she used to her couple. She's ignoring it. Like we had a lot of calls because I have a note that Broderick Graham keeps calling, which means Greer is hiding something. So I know people feel like, okay, Greer is hiding something. She's throwing her husband under the bus. You know, we see the boys fighting with the cake, which was very funny. And yeah, just Greer outing Tag. I felt like, you know, that was kind of like a spotlight. So episode 4, how would you rate this one?
I think I rated 3.75. Like we're still pretty enjoyable. It's still pretty good. I think my next episode is a little bit. I like that episode a little bit better. So it's.
Ew, we are alike, and it's so funny because we never discussed this ahead of time, but we are alike. I have in my notes. I rated episode 4 a 3. I felt like it was okay. So it was bringing me back to episode 1 level. It was just okay. I felt like episode 2 and episode 3 were giving, and then I came into episode 4. I'm just like, okay, we're going along to get along. So. That's how I rated episode 4. Okay, episode 5. Never gonna give you up. I can't sing.
No, check out because we might get copyrights.
Yes, exactly. So karaoke, folks. You know that song. Yes, that episode. You know what? Let me start with the rating. Episode 5 was a 5-star.
Yeah. 0
notes. Would not change anything. That episode was giving, and the title is actually "Never Gonna Give You Up." In ode to the song, because woo. I mean, I have episode 5 stars, no notes, wouldn't change anything. Episode 5 is when we really see Greer and Tag's relationship crumble. Like at this point, it is dust. It's not even rubble. It is fine dust you can sift through your flour sifter at home. Their relationship is so bad at this point. And we see the chaos during Greer's book launch. By the way, I was hoping they were going to feature that Nantucket bookshop, and yes, they did. I love that bookshop. It is cute. It's quaint, that little bookshop on a corner. So I was reliving my one trip to Nantucket in that moment. We also see Benji and Amelia's relationship completely deteriorate as well. So, yeah. Tell me, what do you think about this book launch? Because that was basically episode 5.
Well, I got blessed. The Tag didn't get any sleep. He was like sleep deprived from being in the police station. They have a cutout of him who's been hiding because they're like, we're not having this. And all this like frou-frou, like this is a very Nantucket book launch where it's a little Pulitzer, like very like, you know, very rich white lady ladies who launch. And so then you see Tag, who's like sleep deprived, probably like missing his weed, like maybe like need a little bit of drugs, a little bit of alcohol. It's like booze it up. And he like not only that, then we have this other guy come in that we're not sure who this other guy is, but Greer doesn't like him, and she's calling security. She's like, Roger, security. We're like, what is happening here? And then this whole mess, and then Benji is drunk and acting up. It's such a dysfunctional like place that it's just like it's the gift that keeps on giving.
100%. So it's fair to say Greer, the police said she threw her husband under the bus. So he's sleep deprived. I agree. He's probably been held, coming close to 24 hours, which is when he gets out. And I have to say, I agree with everything he said. He was probably missing his weed. He was sleep deprived. I think him going to the book launch and seeing the cutout, it's like, oh, okay. So you are willing to go with that. It's like, I think he was annoyed at that fact as well. It didn't help that he probably drank on an empty stomach. You know, it was just a mess. But yeah, him getting on stage, it was also funny kind of seeing her trying to do a little thing at the end. Great. It was so funny. I loved it. Again, episode 5, I have zero notes. We also see more secrets. I was just checking my notes, more secrets about the family being revealed, which really deepened the mystery around Merritt's death. Amelia and Benji's relationship, that also is, going down quick. What else did I have? Yeah, the book launch. And what did you think about Amelia's parents? So Amelia's mom realizing one of her pills is missing because...
Yeah, the parent storyline is the reason why I DNF'd the book, because I did not care about that storyline. It was too present. I was like, I don't want to listen to this right now. So it was like, so I'm glad that they were like very like minor in the story, but at the same time they were major things. Like obviously the pill was an important thing of like, it's not just any opioid that she's drinking and stuff like that. And she realizing like somebody stole it, and then be like, oh my God, I may be like complicit, like, because that barbiturate is not prescribed. She got it on the black market. So it's not even like she got it legally. And now be like, holy crap, I may get in trouble for this, even though I just want to die.
Exactly. 100%. But so we see, that happening in that mystery. But again, episode 5 is 5 out of 5, 0 notes. I love that episode. Let us know in the comments what was your favorite episode, but also how would you rate the entire series? And if you read the book, we would love to hear from you as well. Okay, getting back to the series, episode 6, final episode, because again, this is a limited series, 6 episodes. And of course, in the finale, we get major revelations. So we find out about Merritt's death, right? So we know what happens to Merritt. Okay, cool. We also find out more about the family secrets. We see Greer come clean. She's just like, look, I am tired. And episode 6 is aptly titled, That Feels Better. Because you remember, she's like, that feels better, doesn't it? And I'm like, yeah. I bet, carrying around all of that, so for sure. So we find out who Merritt's killer is, and we get Greer's shocking confession. I think that was the big thing in episode 6. We have some drama as well. With Abby. We also, let me see what else I had. We had a lot of lighthearted moment. The ending was very entertaining. We also see Greer and Amelia's relationship kind of take an unexpected turn. So yeah, we find out who Merritt's killer is. Greer confesses to her children. We also find out who Graham Broderick is. Yeah, because I was like, I'm forgetting something. Yeah. And Thomas and Isabel are cleared of suspicion. Perfect. And the family's left to deal with the fallout. What did you think of episode 5? How would you, episode 6, the finale, how would you rate it?
I really enjoyed it. I gave it like a 4.5. Like, it was pretty good. It's not as solid as the book launch mess, but it was pretty solid. It tied everything together. The secrets were shocking. At least the Greer secret was shocking to me. And then the other ones were like, okay, we're kind of like expected. I figure out who the murderer is like by episode 5, even though we had a lot of red herrings. I was like, okay, it's gonna be this person. But
why did you think it was that person?
I think because it was like, it's the least person they're paying attention to. And sometimes I've read enough trailers to understand, like, sometimes the person that you barely have any signs is the one that you're actually and the person who's doing too much might be the one who did it. No,
that makes sense. I agree. I was happy with the way it ended in that kind of dramatic moment. Greer's confession, though, about how her and Tag met. I mean, what did y'all think? And I'm also like, sis, at this point, I'm starting to think you only stuck around because of like your books and the perfect couple that you're painted and that you were writing about a perfect couple, but also maybe for the last name. Because I'm like, you could easily stand on your own 2 feet. You don't need this man and this man's money. Yeah. Actually, your money is floating everybody's lifestyle. So not just your husband, and not just your children, but clearly your brother as well, who we found out about the extended family and just her actual background.
I think, but we find out in the book launch that her main character, it's a murder mystery, kind of like a cozy mystery series, very, very rich cozy mystery series. She based the main character on her husband. And so she had to kind of like pretend. So it's like essentially, there's a book that I read earlier this summer where there was a similar storyline where the main character wrote a book about her husband and everyone loved him, but they got divorced and she wants to kill him off. In some ways, like, Greer has to kill off the series, and that's what she was doing, like kill him off in order to break free from it. But they've been writing the series for 28 years, 29 years, the same time they've been together. So it's like she needs to. It's like a whole. It's not just shattering your personal life, but your career and a high-profile career. Because what's going to happen if she decides like she's not going to want to write this? People are going to be like asking for it. So she's going to be followed around for the rest of her life, not only because of her children, but her career also.
And because we're readers too, I mean, we know how the reader community is, right? You have a series, it's a Dolly and Dash series, I think that's what it was, and they're the perfect couple in their book. So yeah, and I remember her saying, the book was called Death in Dubai, which I found very funny and interesting. But yeah, I think you're right. I actually think you're right. She had to do that to kind of close out her relationship as well. So it's like her relationship and the story she was writing, they ran parallel. So yeah, for sure. Okay, so all things considered, I rated episode 6. I gave it 5 stars. That was my gut reaction. So episode 5 and 6, I gave 5 stars. Yep. Overall, how would you rate the series in its entirety?
I think it was a 4-star. It was entertaining. It was fun. It was rich people behaving badly. It was Nantucket. It's a perfect summer series to escape from the summer. I think it's perfect for Labor Day for the season. I wish it was in the summer, but the reality is like it's actually a really great end of the season, kind of like ease your way into fall. So I really enjoyed the series a lot.
I agree with you as well. I enjoyed the series very much. I think, no, I didn't need this in the summer. This was a perfect end of summer because also just the way the series ended. I think that also kind of played a role. So I loved I love seeing how it ended, especially with Greer as well. When I look back, so let me scroll my notes. So I had some highlights. I feel, first off, this is not a traditional murder mystery drama because it had comedy in there. I mean, some of it was dark, okay? And I get it. It was dark. But I think it was also, they had funny moments, ridiculous moments. I love the drunk karaoke bit. Like that to me, I laughed so hard. Episode 5 with that drunk karaoke, it was insane. I love seeing Tom. Well, I have that picture, so I can show it. I love seeing this part, Tom and Abby with the wedding cake. Like that to me was so silly, but it was funny. Another moment, because I have a picture of that moment, but I love seeing Abby stealing wedding gifts. You remember Abby stealing like the wedding, like she's going through and she's like shaking and she's like,
she got the Hermes. She was like, hey, I know this label. I'm taking this with me.
So I loved Abby doing that. What else did I like? I have Abby also hated her in-laws too. No, I didn't. Oh, the golf balls. Every time Tad goes outside. Oh my gosh. As much as I don't think this man is a DILF, I mean, everyone in the show thinks he's a DILF, but watching him go out there with the golf balls and then he finally hit the bird, which I'm like, okay, that is a bit crass, but I know that's what he was doing. I was like, okay, finally, sir, finally. And he was like ready to fall for her. So that was very interesting. The one thing we didn't talk about is the ending in terms of with Amelia and Greer, like kind of seeing the ending with those two and just kind of how that turned out, like her going to find her writing this new book, a new story, her explaining, this is the reason why I basically didn't like you. What did you think about kind of like that ending kind of tying
up? I thought Amelia leaving to London felt very like dramatic. Like, I can't be in the same city as you, so I'm gonna go across the pond to London and work at the zoo. And I'm like, girl, you're just like, it's not. And then like I thought Greer was doing too much. Like, Amelia was vanilla. Like, there's nothing interesting about her to write a freaking book about her. Like, why are we writing a book about her? She's not that interesting.
I mean, she's not that interesting. I think I was really trying to think. Okay, first off, I agree. Amelia moving was too much. It was just, I agree. I felt she was doing too much. I was trying to think about Greer. And I think it's because Amelia, it's kind of like she gave an example of how when she went to Met Tag's family, she learned how to shuck an oyster. She read this, it's like she prepared herself so much to meet the family and to kind of really fit in, whereas she felt like Amelia couldn't give two shits. And it kind of reminded her to, button down her shirt a bit, not be so uptight. So I think it was more of a reminder. She's like, no, this girl is still too basic for me. I really believe that. But it's kind of like that person in your life who, you don't aspire to be like them, and they're really probably not that inspirational or aspirational, but they gave you a reminder.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. So it's just more like a girl, and I'm sure in that novel that Greer wrote, this girl just really didn't give a care in the world. She really, but it reminded her to kind of live her best life. I don't know. I don't know. But that's what I was thinking.
I felt like she was doing too much. I was like, if I was Greer, I'd be like, I'll just go meet with the editor and write my novel about whatever the F I want to.
It was a mess.
I finished a 28-year series. I think I deserve to have a freaking passion project right now.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe she went to London though. That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. But I was happy that Greer was liberated. Leave that man. Them men, you can't save them. Live your best life and do you. Okay, so I know you DNF'd the audiobook, and honestly, I was going to listen to the audio, but I just didn't get around to it. And it's been a while since I read it. Outside of Amelia's family being featured heavily in the book, but they were on the periphery. We also didn't get Shooter being built out on the show and his background and just a whole thing. What are some standouts about the book that you liked, that you can remember versus the show?
I like the chief and like his family dynamic and the whole dynamic of the town people, along with the rich people, like the dynamic between both of them and the connection, like the people who are working, doing the day job, and then serving the rich people, and then the rich people behaving badly. Like, I think Elin Hilderbrand's books are like a great beachy escape. Like, they're just fun, frothy. They're not supposed to be like, hard literature. Like, it's just supposed to be fun, like a fun escape. Like, they're just escape, like it's like a beach read. It's the ultimate definition of beach read. And I know she ended her career with Nantucket Swan Song with the last book in the series, which this is part of that series. So it's just kind of like fun, I will go back to and read some of her books next summer.
What is your favorite Elin Hilderbrand that you can remember? For me, I love Summer of '69. Like, that was great.
I really love her Winter in Paradise. That
was good.
That's a Christmas series, St. John's. I know Ellen.
I remember that one.
Spend time in St. John's in the Christmas time, and as someone who grew up in Puerto Rico, like, it's just kind of like it reminded me of the beachy Caribbean vibes. Are very different from Nantucket, but there's still like a murder mystery, and there's a whole mystery around it. So I really like that series a lot. That trilogy.
Yeah, no, that I forgot about that one. The second you said it, I actually can even like see the cover in my head. So that was really, really good. But do you have any other thoughts on The Perfect Couple?
No, this was a good weekend of like good TV shows, and I really enjoyed this one. It got me to get back to the book to screen adaptation. And there's a whole plethora of book to screen adaptation, which will keep you busy, which is exciting for you.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, I have a video about some September book to screen adaptations, 5 actually, that are worth watching. Of course, this is one of them. I'm really excited to kind of watch some more and kind of see where the book to screen adaptation series goes. But again, The Perfect Couple, I think, is just a great end of summer watch. So if you haven't watched it already, I highly recommend. You might think you have it figured out, and you probably do, because I think if you read mystery novels quite a bit and you read as much as we do, you'll probably figure it out. But stick around for the drama, stick around for the funny bits and the comedy. Again, episode 5 and 6 really did it for me. And it was lots and lots of fun. But yes, if you haven't already, please like this video, share this video, tell a friend to tell a friend. We'll be doing more book to screen adaptations and chatting about them and recapping them here. If you have a show that you're interested in us covering, let us know. I mean, what book to screen adaptations are you watching or are you looking forward to that you would like us to recap? Again, just let us know in the comments. We would love to hear from you, but also share your rating, your review for maybe each of the episodes or the series in its entirety. But yeah, I think that's about it. And yeah, thanks for recapping with me, Laura.
Thank you for having me.